The 1960s and 70s are remembered as an era of national civil rights activism. The civil rights movement in South Dakota took dramatic form as the American Indian movement, AIM, moved into action. AIM's occupation of the village of Wounded Knee especially attracted international attention. But simultaneously, a quiet civil rights story was unfolding across the nation and in South Dakota. The story began with a question: who had fewer civil rights than citizens virtually incarcerated because they had developmental disabilities? Or to use the terminology of the time, mental retardation. In case after case, citizens, not all of whom had severe disabilities, lived most of their lives in institutions. When they were young children, their parents had been frequently advised by medical professionals to deliver them to an institution and forget they existed. Parents could then move on with their own lives, certain the child's basic needs were ensured perpetually.
In the years that Todd was born and before that, doctors didn't think that you should bring these kids home. They would tell you if you had a child that had something wrong, just put them in an institution and forget about them.
And it always amazed me that the number of admission documents that said, when the family was asked, why are you placing this person at the developmental center, the responses were often, my doctor or my minister or some other significant person in the community has recommended that we place this person at the institution and just forget about them.
Because they'll cause all kinds of problems in your family and so forth. And I think a lot of people did that. They just put their kids away and never saw them again. And that's such a sad thing, I think. I regard Todd as a gift, truly a gift. And I think a lot of parents missed a lot of things by putting their kids away like that.
Yet even Todd was temporarily placed at Redfield because there were no community-based options for him. Sadly, it took grave abuses at substandard institutions to grab the public's attention. Notable was New York State's Willowbrook Institution, where reporter Geraldo Rivera brought deplorable conditions to light. Powerful voices called for reform.
I'm not saying that those who are the attendants there are the ones that run the institution are at fault. I think all of us are at fault. And I think it's just it's long overdue that something be done about it.
Our institution, even though it got up to over 1,200 people at Redfield, I don't think ever kind of got that negative kind of attitude that prompted a lot of the class action lawsuits in other states.
Rather, South Dakotans came to consensus that deinstitutionalization was the right thing to do, and they launched a grassroots movement. In 1970, a new federal act, combined with Social Security Act amendments, made possible community-based housing and job programs for adults with developmental disabilities. Institution numbers declined, but 40 years later, South Dakotans who once lived in the Redfield institution haven't forgotten. They remember when and why they were sent there.
Yeah, I was born in Watertown, South Dakota, 1946. November 7, 1946. And I went to Redfield, 2 years old.
They were trying to check when I had my When I fell down the stairs, they were checking what I was doing and then find out what kind of jobs I had, and then I used to get real mad at things.
They remember the Redfield campus, including underground tunnels that connected buildings. They recall jobs they held, many having to do with food production for the institution or care for younger residents.
I was there when they were killing the pigs. From 6:30 till 8 o'clock, you know, I had to clean up after they got done killing the pigs and stuff. And
working in a creamery, got up at 4 o'clock every morning, take care of 200 gallons of milk every morning.
Take care of the people, take them to the bathroom, you bathe them, get them a shower, put them to bed, stuff like that.
There are certainly good memories of life at Redfield, but even some of those reflect routines at odds with the world residents would find outside.
We could go downtown with 2 people, would go downtown. We went with the staff if we had to go downtown on a walk. We went to the park in different places with the whole groups.
When people were going out in the community, it wasn't 1 or 2 people with a case manager or someone. It was usually clumps of people. It was 6 or 7 or 8 people. And they were very used to that coming from the institution as well. And that's one of the things we really tried to change is, you know, each person is an individual.
Like all of us, these people can recount stories of favorite adventures, even Redfield escape attempts.
I went to Madison, to go down there. I stayed overnight that time, and you know.
Or did you hop on a train or did you hitchhike?
Yeah, no, I hit the train from Redfield to Madison, so.
Okay.
You know, but I come back after that, so.
Did you come back or did they come and get you?
They had the policemen come and get me.
There can be no doubt that some former Redfield residents fully understand their place in history.
So they couldn't make it out in society. That's why they put them into all the institutions in the whole country now. That's what they did. And that's why they couldn't make it out in society. Now they can.
What changed, Mike?
Because the legislation of that changed now because they're putting them out on they didn't try it out there because all the things weren't now. Back in the old days, it was like these institutions were better from them. That's what their families did.
Some who left Redfield as deinstitutionalization moved forward were children. Schools were responding to 1975's federal public law 94-142, guaranteeing free and appropriate public education regardless of disability, in the least restrictive environment possible. Some children who left Redfield attended this school just outside Deadwood in the Black Hills. Deadwood is often thought of as a rough and tumble town shaped by its Old West past. Yet there was a softer side to Deadwood.
What I remember most about our acceptance in the Lee Deadwood community is the welcoming that we received and the acceptance, with people opening their homes as far as providing a home for the children. They became foster homes. And then also the businesses welcoming us, accepting us, coming into their businesses.
You have just watched the first few minutes of what will become a feature-length history tracing South Dakota's efforts to move its citizens with developmental disabilities from institutional existence to community living. The story reflects a national movement, but the reason for focusing on this particular state is compelling. Because of South Dakota's small population, the project can guarantee that every South Dakotan who left an institution in the 1970s and who would like a voice in the project will in fact have it. Those voices will drive this documentary in ways no others could, and those not making the final cut will be archived for future generations seeking to understand this slice of American history. Please consider a gift to support the project. Contact the producers here.